Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. This is what you're reading. So this is where I talk about the comics that I've been reading since the last time I did a what you're reading. And yeah, these are live. I'm experimenting with other things to see what works better. So every once in a while, I try to figure out. Let me know if you like this format better. But here, this is Marvel Romance Redo, Redux, Redeed, Guys and Dolls. These were humor comics. These came out in like 2006, 2008, around there. And what they did was they kind of goofed around with the Marvel Romance comics. So what they did was they took the old, like, Jack Kirby, Vince, Neil, whatever. Why can't I even think of, but Bill Everett and all those old stories, Herb Trimpe, and they just took out all the words and then added new dialogue. So Jimmy Palmiotti wrote them, a bunch of other people wrote them, and I think I read about 4 or 5 of them, and then the rest of them just went on in my back issue box. So when I'm doing cataloging my comics, I pull them out because they're one and dones. You don't need issues beforehand to read them. They just, you just read them. So this is Marvel Romance, But I Thought He Loved Me. This is Marvel Romance Guys and Dolls, and Marvel Romance Love is a 4-letter word. And then we got another one over here. Where is it? Oh, right here. This is Marvel Romance Restraining Orders Are for Other Girls. So they're funny. They're mixed results. Some of them are very funny. Some of them are just weird. Some of them are just plain bad. But it was a Marvel experiment. Marvel experimented with a bunch of stuff, and I kind of like the concept. It was like ad libs. To tell you the truth, I think it's kind of a good experiment for writers. Just take an old comic script, have an editor just erase all the word balloons, and then just give that script to another writer and just like make a story out of this. Put the dialogue in. So that's kind of what they did. It was all right. Wasn't my favorite. It was worth experimenting on, and for what it was fine. So this is a hardcover by JMD Mateus and Mike Plug artwork. Oh my God, is Mark Plug's artwork amazing? This was a 3-issue series from CrossGen called Abadazad, and it's kind of like a mix between Harry Potter and the Wizard of Oz, and it's JMD Mateus, so it's very spiritual. Very. I always find his writing to be like filled with longing, and it's children's literature in the best sense of the word children's literature. I'm a big fan of children's literature, meaning like Narnia, Wizard of Oz, and things like that, like stuff that'll stand the test of time. So unfortunately, CrossGen went under, and I don't know if JMD Mateus owns the rights to this, because I was under the impression that everything CrossGen was bought by Disney and then kind of like squashed, which is just a low down dirty shame, that this, because there were so many good comics. So this is just like I'll just open it up since this isn't in a bag, but you can see it's a mix between, it's like a comic book, and then it's her diary, and then it's supposed to be the actual novels of Abadazad, which is like originally I forget the author, like the fake author's name, who wrote Abadazad is a magical world like a Narnia or Oz, and the little boy goes missing, and for 5 years the girl is miserable because that was her little brother that she kind of worshipped, and she finds out that he's been abducted by the lanky man and he's in Abadazad, so she travels to Abadazad to rescue him. There's these 3 hardcover novels. I read this, and it's the same as issue number 1, but with more material. So it's an expanded comic book turned into like a novelization, and only 3 of them came out. So I don't know. I ordered the second one on eBay. It was only $2, which is a shame. This was like $6 or something like that, which was a shame because it's so high quality. And then I'll get the third one once I read the second one, and I'd like to know if they finished the story, because the comics never finished the story, and it was such a neat story. I really liked it. Oh my God, Mike Plug's artwork is just phenomenal. Okay, here is Justice League number 4. Great condition. There's a comic store right near me, and I go in there every once in a while, and they just have these outstanding back issues, and they're listed they're hanging up on the wall, and they're a really good price to begin with. And then there's a sign that says all back issues 50% off. So even they have a good price, and then they're 50% off. Like every time I go up there, I forget that they're 50. I was willing to pay whatever he said, and then it was 50. I was like, oh my God, I'll go grab something else. But look at this, Justice League of America #4. Just so good. Just so good. So there we go. What else did I read? I read Marvel Team Up featuring Spider-Man and Ghost Rider. What's funny is this was misplaced. It was in the wrong order. So I read up to issue like 26, and I knew I had 15, so I guess I thought I read it. Then I found it in the wrong spot. I'm like, I never read this, but look at that. That is so cool. This is the I think, and I could be wrong, that this is the first time Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider was seen outside of his comic. So this is exactly what Marvel Team Up was. Get the new guys, give some popularity with Spider-Man, Marvel Team Up. So I guess this is a good time to plug my comic. I'm doing. And if I was smart, I would have set this up. But RJ from the Fourth Age and I are going to be doing comic book Team Up every I think every 2 weeks, and then we're going to alternate. So this first week it's going to be on his channel on the Fourth Age. This is Wednesday at 8:30, and then the second one will be on my channel. And we're going to do one because it's going to be like every 2 weeks. All right, this is I know this bag, I put it in a different bag, but this is Long Shot #1, and this is J.M. DeMatteis. Why? Because J.M. DeMatteis was on my channel, so I went through all my back issues and I pulled out all my stuff that he wrote that I didn't read yet. This is I know it's blasphemy, but I never really liked the character of Longshot. Well, let me correct that. I like the character of Longshot, but I hate all of his ancillary characters like the Mojo World and stuff like that. I just don't like the Mojo World. Although I have to admit that the Mojo World is very prophetic in the fact that it's a villain who makes a reality TV show is in another dimension, considering that came out in the 80s, and now reality TV show is a plague upon the universe. So now we have Love and Rockets, and what I consider to be I love Love and Rockets. I'm a Love and Rockets super fan, and I have to admit that this is their worst cover. This just, I don't know, this just looks like the lowest low effort cover from my friend Jamie and Gilbert Hernandez. This is Beto, so this is Gilberto, and this is the back cover. This is Jamie. And what can I say about Love and Rockets? It comes out sporadically. I don't know if it follows a schedule, and I just really like it. Like this one particular, I like because this is Maggie and Hope. They are like the original characters from Love and Rockets. They were the breakout characters, and they're aging in real time. When they first came out, they were like, I don't know, 16 years old, and now they got gray hair, and she's getting married, so she's had feelings for Maggie, and Maggie kind of had feelings for Hopi, but not really, and she likes men, she likes girls, and could they be friends when one, could they still remain friends when one admits that it was romantic? It's a good story. And now she's with her long-term girlfriend, but she's kind of having an affair with a younger girl who looks and acts a lot like Maggie, and Maggie is telling her that she's getting married to Ray, another longtime character. So it's pretty good. And Gilberto is just, I don't know, he's going off the rails with some crazy Fritzy stories, making porn and stuff like that. This is Jester's Moon. I have like 3 copies of these. This, I forget but I bought some comics on eBay, and he threw in these comics, and they're awful. These were independent comics from the 80s, one-shots. And I have to say that these have the distinction of being pretty much the only comics that I owned that I couldn't finish reading. They're just terrible. So there we go. All right. This I had 2 copies, so I didn't read it yet. So I put the second copy to be put away. This shouldn't be in this pile because I didn't read it yet. I'll read it when I get to it. Okay. This is Hack and Slash Back to School. So Cassie, so this is like another series of Hack and Slash. For those of you who do not know this, created by Tim Seeley. And what it is, it's it's a horror comic. It's a horror comic, kind of Uber comic, but Cassie Hack. This is not Cassie Hack. This is another girl. Cassie Hack's mother was a serial killer, a slasher like Jason, like Michael Myers. So like some sort of supernatural mass murdering serial killer, and she had to fight. She was called the Lunch Lady, and she fought her and beat her, and now her life is ruined, and she goes around fighting other slashers. And then this, so that's Cassie Hack, and then this Vladimir Slash, who is like a monstrous appearing, like he's just a gigantic monstrous human, but he's just like a naive childlike innocent soul. So so she's not on the cover, but Cassie Hack is like a petite beautiful girl who's got this jaded monstrous soul, really. And then Vladimir, who's monstrous on the outside and is like sweet and naive on the inside. So what do they do? She went to a school where they're training girls to be like the final girls. You know that trope in the movies, like Jamie Lee Curtis and Friday the 13th. They were the final girls. The final girl is the name of the last girl who lives in a horror movie. It's hardly ever a boy, it's always a girl. So these, like, it's like a final girl school. So there we go. I'm just gonna pull a bunch of them on the lip because I got a lot of good comics read, so I'm happy. So we got Dungeons and Dragons, Fortune Finder. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I did read this. I thought I didn't read this. I'm getting a kick out of these Dungeons and Dragons comics. I don't want to say guilty pleasure because there's nothing wrong with them, but I play a lot of, well, I haven't played real Dungeons and Dragons, but I play like role-playing games, like fantasy role-playing games. So but I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons, so I just like this. I don't know why. This is just awesome. Geiger. I know this is old. I forgot that I bought this. I have all 6 issues, and it was in my back issue bin that I just forgot all about it. So I pulled this out. Jeff Jones, Gary Frank, Brandes. This is just awesome. Good storytelling and amazing art. Just amazing. Oh wow, yes, Count Dante. So I got, yeah. So I'll put them in order because that'll bother me. I read Count Dante #1. It is the unauthorized but sort of true story of the deadliest man who ever lived. It's a embellished biography of Count Dante. If you're an old comic book head like me, the Count Dante ads that were in comics. The Black Dragon Fighting Society. So this is his story, and I loved it. Oh my God, this is so good. I was missing #2, so I couldn't read 3, 4, and 5. And issue #6 either just came out and I didn't get it yet, or it's about to be released. Oh man, but I love this. I loved it. This is so good. So good. Look at that. This is so good. If it's I don't know, it's like a comic book about sea monkeys. I love that ad. Here we got the Scarlet Witch #13. I got this series because it's by James Robinson, who wrote Starman, one of my favorite comics of all time. And I have to say, I really liked it for about 10 issues, and then it just started to go off the rails. I'm not really liking it, but I do like this. How all the covers seem to be black, white, and red. The covers of this are phenomenal, just great. But there's a reason why I broke up with Marvel. And here we got Crossed, which is gross comic. I got it because Garth Ennis. I'm a Garth Ennis fanboy. I make no bones about that. Garth Ennis is one of the greatest comic book writers. He writes The Boys, which is my least favorite thing about him. But this is it's like a zombie apocalypse, except the people just get this rash and they become just like monstrous, like they have no humanity. They just become like murderous perverts, and so they're not really dead, but they can't take care of themselves, so they're dying out, and so it's stories of packets of survivors and how do they live in a world like that. It's not zombies, but it might as well be zombies. And it's not my cup of tea, but I like when Garth Ennis does it because he really makes the survivors interesting. They have good stories. All right, this is it's really, the name of the comic is called Heroic Tales. Oh, there's a glare on this. This is Heroic Tales, and this is the Amazon. This is by Bill Williams. It's autographed by Bill Williams. So Lone Star Press. Uh, it lasted 10 issues, and my comic that's coming up is going to be called Heroic Tales. So somebody alerted me that there already was a comic called Heroic Tales in 1997. So I reached out to Bill Williams, the writer of this, and he was like, yeah, sure, you could use the title. He's like, I took the title from a 40s comic. So there you go. So, and then I started talking to him. And then next thing you know, he came on my channel, and I plan to work with him at some time in the future. He's a real good guy, and good comic book writer. So there you go. And here is the last batch of comics. So this is Chili. This is Millie's red-headed rival, as you can see down here. And who's Millie? Millie is the good girl model. Remember, comic books from the 40s to like the 60s, they had like every genre imaginable. They had sci-fi, they had horror, they had humors, they had TV personalities like Bob Hope and and things like that. So this was what they called girl comics. This was comics marketed towards girls. So there was Millie the model, and she was the blonde good girl that was the most beautiful, sweetest girl. And then this was the fiery redhead that was like her frenemy. So she became popular, and her name is Chili Storm. And then later on in Marvel Comics, they said that she's Johnny and Sue Storm's cousin, which you better believe if I was to write Fantastic Four, I'd bring Chili back into regular continuity. And it's just her like trying to mess up Chili's good luck, good nature, and it's always backfiring. And there's a reason why it lasted 26 issues. The first 12, 15 issues or so were really good. This is written by Stan Lee and Stan Goldberg doing the art, who later actually he was working for Marvel at the same time. So he worked under a pen name a few times because the Archie people didn't want him working for Marvel. Can you blame him? But there's a reason why it wound it down. Right about now, it's getting a little long in the tooth. Okay, and this is as I drop my comics, these are the Edge, so I'll put these in order because that drives me nuts. This is Comicsburg. As I hit the camera because I'm that bad at this stuff. Look at these covers. These covers are awesome. This is by Marvin Wynn. He was on my channel with Heroinberg. He's a comic book company based in Pittsburgh. And Marvin Wynn, Mark V, and this is his own comic. Oh, Johnny Slackshit says that looked like Dan DeCarlo art on Chili. Yes, it looked like it, but it was Stan Goldberg who he was purposely aping that Archie kind of style. So yes, it looks like that for a reason, because they were not goofing, but competing with Archie, trying to get they were feeding from the same well. But I just love this cover. This is just a great cover, and this is his world, his superheroes. Here, this is issue 3. I did a video showcase on the Edge #1. It's, if you go to my playlist and look at Independence, you'll see it. So you can see the inside. This is issue #4. Okay. And this is issue #5. And this is all the comics that I've been reading since the last time I did a What You're Reading. I try to read 5 comics a day, and as you can see, I'm not living up to that. But thanks a lot, Johnny Selection, for commenting in the comments. This is today's video. Let me know, do you like it when I just do these videos live, or do you like them pre-recorded and then released at 12 noon like I normally do? All right. So, and then Thursday will be part 2 to my Villains and Vigilantes role-playing session, edited by Roy, who is Dark Gift Alchemy. I forget, but I'll put the link in the description to his YouTube channel. And don't forget, tomorrow I'll be talking with retro board gamer Asdrubal Cifuentes, probably the coolest guy in board gaming. Wednesday I got 2 talks. I'm going to be doing comic book team up with RJ over at the 4th Age. I'll put a link for that. And I'll also be talking with Johnny from Beyond at 7 p.m. So I'll do 7 p.m. Johnny from Beyond, 8:30 with RJ and Ethan Van Sciver. And then Friday, I will be talking with Andy Smith of Core Darath. So this is a big week, big busy week. So thanks a lot, everybody. And I hate saying this, but could you subscribe? I'm at 948 subscribers. I got to make it to 1,000. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.